we are going to look at the thermochemistry. So what is thermochemistry? Thermochemistry is one of the branches of chemistry chemical reactions and the energy changes that involve heat. So generally, when we are talking about chemical reaction, it means that we of course have what you call reactant and product. So when we are talking about chemical reaction, we are talking about reactants to generate product. We are talking about reactants to generate products. So this is chemical reaction. So when reactant is converted into product, there is usually a bond breakage and the bond formation. So during this bond breakage and the bond formation, there is production of heat. So the process in which heat are being generated during the chemical reaction through bond breakage, bond formation is what they call thermochemistry. So thermo means heat. Whenever we say thermo means heat. Thermo means heat. So thermochemistry is one of the branches of chemistry that deals with the study of heat during the course of chemical reaction. And that is the meaning of this thermochemistry. And then the next thing is coming. Okay, as I said, today we are going to look at the concept of thermochemistry. And thermochemistry is one of the branches of chemistry that deals with the study of heats. And this heat is usually generated during the chemical reaction. So when we are talking about chemical reactions, we are talking about bond formation and bond breakage. So during the course of the chemical reaction, we are talking about maybe a reactant and product. So if we have A plus B, we have C and D. So the A and B here serve as a reactant. It serves as a reactant, and then the C and D is the product. So during the course of the chemical reaction, there is usually bond formation and bond breakage. So during this bond breakage and the bond formation, there is a heat generated. So the process in which the heat is generated during the course of the chemical reaction is what we call thermochemistry. Because thermochemistry is one of the branches of chemistry that deals with the study of heat changes. And this heat changes is usually noticed during the course of the chemical reaction. So in this course, we are going to look at this concept. We are going to look at this concept. That is the concept of thermochemistry. So of course, when we are talking about thermochemistry, we have to talk about the nature of heat. So even though chemistry is the study of matter and the effect of energy on matter, so what is energy? So energy is the ability or capacity to do work. So if there is any objects that actually perform a particular work, it means that there must be an energy. So what is a work? A work is a force acting over a distance. And of course, the formula for calculating work is force times distance. So energy and work are the same thing. So energy can be interchanged between objects through contact. Of course, and the energy can be changed from one form to another. And of course, that is where we are going to talk about the different laws of thermodynamics. We have first law of thermodynamics, we have second law of thermodynamics, and the third law of thermodynamics. And we are going to look at them one after the other. So now the next things we are going to look at is energy, heat, and work. So energy is one of the quantity that an object possesses, or a collusion of an object. So I think we have actually we actually talk about most of these things, and these ones are very clear. So we are going to look at clearly the heat itself and the thermochemistry. So heat and thermal energy are different things. So thermal energy between two bodies that are at the temperature difference. We are talking about a temperature differences. And how do we have temperature differences? Assuming now you have an object, the temperature of that object is 37, let's say it's 30. The initial temperature of that object is 37. After maybe you observe an increase in temperature, then it's now changed to, let's say, 90 degrees centigrade. So how did you define differences? That is when you subtract the higher temperature, sorry, when you subtract the differences you obtain is what you call heat. So heat and temperature is the differences between the two objects, or between objects at different points. Of course, so heat flow from, so thermochemistry, as we said, is the study of heat changes in chemical reaction. It's the study of heat changes in chemical reaction. So then the next thing is, what is chemical energy? So chemical energy is the energy stored within a structural unit of chemical substances. So generally, so I think we have actually discussed most of this thing last time. So thermochemical system, we are going to talk about thermochemical system, and then the different types of system. So when we say system, is actually system or just a system. So a system is a region, where actually depend on how you look at your system. If you have a room. So a system is a region where processes are taking place. So if you take your container, let's say you have a container and you assume that let's assume this is your container, and in that of your container, like for example, look at this box. Okay, what I'm saying here is, let's assume this is your container, and then you consider this container, you consider this of your container as a system,